Welcome, guys, to podcast number 53 of Our Ketogenic Life.
Hey, guys.
We're going to talk about some weight loss stalls.
Yes.
Usually, when someone's doing something, they're changing. It isn't a linear fashion, meaning it doesn't always go down. There are some times where we decrease as far as like what we're losing and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people get frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
They want to quit. They say it's not working. We're here to throw a life vest to you. Say it's okay. Calm down. It'll work out.
Right.
And our last tip, we were going to talk about this specifically.
Don't give up.
Don't give up. So 10 tips
Yes.
for a keto weight loss stall.
And it happens to everybody.
Oh, it does. It does. Number one, first of all, is it a stall?
Right.
A lot of times people will come to us, they do so well. You know, the first couple, 2-3 weeks, you know, they're losing a significant amount of weight. You know, maybe in a couple weeks after that, they'll lose a few more pounds. And then, you know, maybe a week goes by and they're saying, hey, I haven't lost any weight. What am I doing wrong?
Right.
So we want to give them some reassurance.
Right.
Is it a stall first? So what we consider a stall is when someone is not getting the progress that they want and they keep doing what they're supposed to do, and it's been like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And some of the things we're going to talk about here in a few minutes is like, you know, your scales versus some of your measurements.
Right.
So, you know, it's important to, first of all, know, you know, are you in a stall? Because if it's been a few days, you're not in a stall.
Right.
So just calm down, just keep doing what you're doing,
Right.
and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
All right? Number 2, track your measurements. Now, when we talk about your measurements, a lot of times people automatically assume we're talking about things like your, you know, how much you weigh on the scales and those type of things, even inches, you know, if you're measuring yourself.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not just that what we're talking about. We're also talking about some other things that you can check.
Like your pant size, like how are your pants fitting?
How your pants are fitting, you know, how those, you know, how are they feeling? You know, do you have another notch taken off of your belt?
Or can you wear a pair and they feel much better than what they did before?
Yeah,
you know?
if you pulled out something you couldn't wear it for a few years and a half, that's great.
Right. Yeah.
You know, some of the other things that you want to look for too is, you know, let's say you're diabetic. And let's say that you're doing this, you're doing well, and your blood sugars are going down. There's a sign. You know, what you're doing is working.
Right.
Sometimes the results that you see outside lags behind what's actually going on the inside.
Right.
So if you're diabetic and your blood sugars are getting better, hey, you're on the right progress. Okay, you're on the right pathway. Your blood pressure. You know, is your blood pressure getting better? Are you concerned about your blood pressure getting too low and you're thinking about going to your doctor, get it checked out, maybe reduce medications and things like that? You're getting better.
Right.
So, you know, just because the scales don't show it, but if you're having these other things show up that, hey, they are getting better, you know, don't despair.
And just to throw in, you know, this is not medical advice.
Absolutely.
So if you are diabetic and if you are, you know, you've high blood pressure, low blood pressure, you know, before starting keto, you want to talk to your doctor to make sure that you keep up with, if you're on a type of medication that,
especially insulin.
Yeah, that you can drop significant amount of weight, therefore your insulin. So make sure that, you know, they know you're doing this so that they can keep a check on, because you don't want to take the same amount of medicine with your blood sugar dropping. So
good point.
Yeah.
All right, number 3, are your symptoms getting better? You know, were you more lethargic, not having energy, but now you are?
Right. Are you sleeping better?
Are you sleeping better? You know, are you just not having any aches and pains?
Right.
We've had a few people tell us that, you know, they've had certain pains in certain joints and they get better.
Yeah, that was me for sure.
Yeah, after 2 or 3 weeks, they start getting better. So there's things that's happening on the inside that shows that, you know, what you're doing is working because your symptoms are getting better. The other thing, too, that you can, and we've had some podcasts about this before, is your hunger and your cravings. You know, if you're going and not eating because you're not hungry, and the cravings for the sugars and the carbs are not there like it was before, that's getting better.
Yeah.
You know, you're
and
switching.
Sometimes you have to, you don't realize how bad you felt
Right.
or the cravings until then you have to kind of remind yourself, hey, I've not been craving, I've not been wanting to eat that afternoon, sugar rush to get you some energy throughout the afternoon. Or I've not felt bad when I woke up in the morning, like, oh my, because for me, I used to kind of have headache.
Right.
And neck ache and joint pain, and then you don't realize how bad you felt until you don't feel bad.
Right.
And so sometimes just take an inventory kind of on your body to say, that's gone.
If you have taken like ibuprofen, a lot of people take that, Advil, things like that over the counter. You may not have to take those things.
Right.
You feel better.
That's our goal. We don't want you to have to take.
So, hopefully it's not just weight loss that you're seeing that is a benefit from keto, but there's other things as well that's going to help you get...
really, weight loss is just kind of so-called icing on the cake, kind of, I mean, it's just like a lot of people, once you do start losing, just how better you feel, your insulin, your inflammation, everything just feels so much better.
Yeah, the weight loss is a result of your body getting healthy.
Yeah.
And these things that we just talked about earlier, like with your blood pressure and sugar and things like that, is showing that, you are getting more healthy on the inside.
Yep.
Where we're at, number 4. So you have some weight loss styles. You're not getting where you want to go. You have to track your macros. This is something a lot of people don't want to do.
I don't like to do it either. I mean, I'll be honest. Of course, we've been doing it going on 5 years now. So it is, but sometimes you can, realize even if you're eating so-called good food, sometimes if you just have a little bit too much, or you don't realize if you've eaten out, you don't realize what's in it. That's kind of a bad thing too. That's something else we really probably should have another podcast on is...
Well, we did one last week about carb creep.
Right.
Was it last week or week before?
I can't keep up. But
the last couple of weeks we did one on carb creep.
Right. But even just like the oils that something's made in and, maybe the ingredients, because, I was just looking the other day, I was getting ready to make something and I was trying to look through spices, think, well, I'm just going to add something different to it. And I need to clean out our spice cabinet because you start realizing, I think it was a garlic salt or something, and it has stuff in it, I think it had MSG in it. And I thought, I really never noticed that.
Right.
So it's something that we really need to start checking on is all the extra that's in, even a spice. You would think that you should be able to just rely on a spice.
And, look at us, we've been doing this for almost 5 years.
Yeah,
and
there's still things that we're learning.
We're learning as we go along as well. We're a little bit further along than most people, but, we're still learning.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, so, track your macros. It's easy to do. There's a free app, MyFitnessPal. We've been using that for years. Well, we don't get the upgrade. I don't even know what the upgrade offers. There's something you can pay for, but just the simple free one works really well.
Yeah. And I saw on, this kind of fits with this. I saw this the other day. I don't know who to give credit to because I don't know who said it. But don't give up your future. Don't give up today. Don't give up for what you want for the future for what you want today. So, think about what, like your macros and what you're eating today. Is it worth what your future goal is? Yeah. So don't give up, don't give up what your goal is for later on is to feel better, lose weight, to what you're wanting right now.
Right. Get healthier.
Yeah. Because sometimes when you're wanting that bowl of pasta or sandwich bread, whatever it is that right now really worth giving up for what you're wanting for later on?
That's a good point. All right, see? Number 5, watch inflammatory foods. Now, we're talking about mostly like nuts and dairy here. You shouldn't be
and
really
oils.
Oils. I forgot to add that. You really shouldn't be doing a lot of gluten because we're not eating the processed foods and things like that. Now, a lot of people, you can do lab work for inflammatory foods, like there's things called ESR and CRP. But, you have to go to the doctor, get that all checked out and get blood work. What you really can do is, are you bloated? Do you have heartburn? Do you have gas? Do you have these things? And if you do, that's a great sign that what you're eating is causing inflammation in your gut. and it's probably something you may want to see about getting rid of, because it's your body's reacting to it in a negative way.
Right.
So it doesn't mean you have to give it up forever. You know, you have to change what we call the microbiome, the bacteria in your stomach. Once you do that, you can reintroduce these at a later date. But if you're getting a stall, you've been 2 weeks, you're not getting where you want to go, you're feeling bloated, try to get rid of these foods. Again, it may just be for 2 or 3 months. And then try to reintroduce them slowly, and you'll be able to tell which ones it is.
Right. Are you talking about is that part of like nightshades?
It can be.
Okay. Like
Nightshades are part of tomatoes.
peppers, eggplant. A lot of times those affect your joints and just inflammation.
Yeah, and just to kind of plug our coaching right here, this is a great place to say, you know, if you're listening to this and you're doing well and you're rocking it and you're losing weight, you're feeling good, all this kind of stuff, keep going. You're doing really well. For the rest of us who goes along, we do well at the beginning, then we have some struggles because of all these things kind of pop up. If you don't even know what a nightshade is, what today's talking about, you know, sometimes you'll need a little bit more specific help, and that's where our coaching comes into play, to where we can help identify some of the things that's specifically for you that maybe you can or can't do that somebody else can.
Right. And then again, like you said last time, it may not be forever. It may be just for a time period. Get your gut microbiome worked out, get, you know, the rest of the inflammation out, then start introducing. And then really, like, because let us help you, because I know so many people will say, or you hear people say, not necessarily to us, what?
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work for me. It messed me up. But I'm thinking, okay, but eating pizza, chips,
and the bar it says keto bar on it.
Right.
You're making meals out of these.
Right. I mean, if you're eating things, you know, like your rate before you even started keto, was that working for you?
Yeah.
Did that work for your body?
Right.
No.
Or you wouldn't be here.
Or, well, I mean, because you are either overweight, don't feel good, you have headaches, joint pain, you got all these different things going on in your body, and that diet that you've been on is not working for you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Why go back to it?
But why go back and why give up so easily? You know, you spent years, you know, putting this junk in your body. And so let us help you. Everybody's different. If everybody was exactly the same and we could just say, eat this, this, and this, and you are good to go.
Right.
I mean, that would be wonderful. But the Lord created us all unique and all different. Each of us have things, DNA, our genes are expressed different ways. We all have had different lifestyles of what we've eaten, what we're allergic to, what we've been exposed to. What our what our genes what our genes actually, you know, some people can have, you know, something dairy and other people can't.
Right. It's not right or wrong, it's just, it is what it is.
It is what it is. So, you know, until you just really get, you know, realistic with your own body and not think of yourself as a victim or think of yourself as, well, you know, I can't have, just let us help you, because you're going to feel so much better. And it might take a lot of time
to figure it out. I
mean, again, if it was just as simple as, well, you know, you're a woman and you're 35 and you're this, I mean, that would be easy too. But it's not that simple. Our bodies are all created uniquely. And
to kind of go back with, you know, let's not get down too big a rabbit hole right here, but like if you're 35, 45 years old and you have problems, we could trace that back to the birth control pills that you took as a teenager.
Right.
And your hormones are still not where they need to be because you took these, or you took certain antibiotics, or you've taken a lot of them.
Right.
Could be causing a lot of gut problems, which is going to lead to a lot of things.
Antibiotics that you've had.
So, you know, that's where it comes in. Having that specific help really does help.
It does. So, but
and
it's
the frustration
possible.
It's possible. But just avoiding the frustration.
Right.
At some point, we're off on a tangent.
I know. Well, you're going to either put the time and the energy in now, and then you're going to feel better, or you're going to spend, like when you're older, you know, there is consequences. I mean, whether you want to deal with them today, or you want to deal with them 5 years from now, 20 years from now. But for me, I would rather do what I can now and do my best. The Lord has, of course, given us how many years and what, you know, we're supposed to be here. But we are also, we know what we're putting into our body. I mean, you know, what we're eating. And if we can do our best to live the life
Right.
as feeling as good as we can to be able to do what we can. That's just what I
I
guess
tell
it's just
people.
we're just passionate about.
I tell people when they come into the clinic, and for instance, if I diagnose them with diabetes, and they say, well, it's going to be hard to change diet. I say, change is hard. You're either going to deal with it now, or you're going to deal with it later, but you will deal with the problem.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to help you guys with.
Yeah.
Anyway, what number were we on?
6.
Watch artificial sweeteners.
Yeah.
Big one, guys. Big one. And I'm probably guilty with this, with Coke Zero and my diet.
Okay, we really do. Anytime if you see him
smack it in my hand.
and we go to Food City and he has a ton of, well, here's the thing, he cracks me up because he tries to trick himself to not drink, because he doesn't really want to drink Coke Zero.
I'm trying to get rid of caffeine.
Right, he's trying to get rid of caffeine.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, but he will drink diet root beer.
That's really good, guys.
Well, you didn't even like it that well to begin with, because
really
you were trying to you were trying to drink that because you didn't like it as well. So you were thinking you would drink less.
Right.
But you don't. Because
now
you don't bring as much home.
I try to.
Yeah, so. Anyway.
Let's not.
But exactly, we all have struggles, and we're real with you.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to say that we never have anything, but we do try to really limit. I really don't drink hardly any pop anymore.
No, you drink a lot of water. You got that big jug.
That does help. I've got one of those big ones that actually, because I'm a visual person, so I have to be able to see it. So if I can see
like a goal,
of how much that I need to drink, and I've got it right there, and then I can see, keep drinking it, keep getting the ounces down, and it really does. It really does make you feel a lot better.
At least you check that box off for the day.
Exactly.
That helps.
Yes.
Number 7, add intermittent fasting.
Yes.
Probably, if you guys have been following us for a while, or if you're in our membership or whatever, close to us, you've heard of intermittent fasting. You've heard the benefits from it. And we've got some, I think we did a 3-series podcast on fasting a few months ago. So you can go back and listen to that. But adding some intermittent fasting and some multiple day fasting and things like that will help break the cell, get you through there. Number 8, weight training and high intensity interval training. Now this is different than just a long-standing cardio. Weight training does a couple things. It helps with your testosterone some and your growth hormone, and it adds muscle, which will help increase your metabolism because you have more muscle. And the same thing with the high intensity interval training. You're doing a quick burst of energy, and it's going to help. Overall, one thing I would say with the exercise is, if you've hit a stall and you've been exercising a certain way, change it.
And even, we didn't say this, change what you're eating.
Yeah.
Along with, maybe, like I said, not only making sure your macros, but maybe if you have eggs for lunch every day, or a salad for lunch every day, and chicken or steak every day for dinner, maybe changing it up. Maybe don't, give your body a little bit something different.
So,
but anyway, changing up your exercise.
Your exercise, you may be, doing heavy lifting. Maybe go to some, for a couple weeks, go to a lower weight and a higher rep. Personally, what I do is I change every day during the week, different things that I do. Sometimes I do heavy training, sometimes I do light training. Sometimes I do like a, what do you call it, workout on Saturdays I do?
Murph?
Yeah, the Murph, but, what's that?
CrossFit. He's been on the road today.
Yeah. So CrossFit, I do that. So I kind of mix it up throughout the week doing different things. And don't do it mainly for like bulking on size and stuff like that, even though we all like that. But I do it mostly because I'm hitting different things that help with my body. So,
and I do need to work on doing a little bit more high intensity, but I usually do at least try to do 5 miles walking a day. Yeah, so getting in my steps. But I can get that in early, and then I'll be honest, sometimes I know a lot of you, I'm the same way. It's like if I don't go ahead and do it in the mornings, a lot of times the day gets by with you, and then it's like, things come up that we can't help.
Right.
So if you can, try to get it up, like as soon as you can, early in the morning. Like if you have to get up a few minutes early.
Workout works really
And just at home, if you don't have time to go to the gym, if you don't really have gym workout, send us a message. We can, give you some ideas on just quickly some things that you can do at home in your own house. Right there on the floor, some push-ups, some, jumping jacks. There's different things you can do, especially if you're not used to exercising. Don't think that you have to do a gym membership or they have to buy a big equipment. You don't have to do that.
It's like a progression with that. I think if you start doing some body weight exercises and you do some walking, even some sprinting and stuff, you'll start feeling better about yourself, and then you'll say, hey, I need to go to the store and get me a 20-pound dumbbell.
Right. Yeah.
Because I feel better. I want
or you
I
just
want
get a 10 pound,
or 10 pound.
if you're one.
But you want to you'll keep adding this.
Yes.
So you don't have to go out and buy hundreds of dollars worth of stuff.
Don't have to wait till you think you can get a gym membership, or you think, well, I have to wait till I can get this workout, or get on YouTube and find some.
Right. And in our membership, that's the other way we can help you. We've got a whole section on exercises that actually shows you what to do.
Yeah. So.
Number 9, sleep. Sleep. Very, very important. That's when a lot of your body is being repaired, both in your brain and in your muscles. So sleep is very important. Affects your hormones, things like cortisol, which will affect your insulin and your sugar, and there's a cascading of effects, which then affects your thyroid. So if you are not sleeping, all right, we have 4 pillars of health in our coaching. We have a healthy diet, we have exercise, we have sleep, and we have prayer. If you're not hitting all 4 of those, you're going to get some results hitting 3 out of 4, but you're not going to get the results that you really want unless you incorporate all 4 of these pillars of your health. And we can help you deal with that.
Yeah.
But sleep is important, and that doesn't mean you go to the store and buy, what do they call
melatonin or sleep aid or
stuff like, Benadryl, PM.
Yeah, Tylenol PM or something like that.
Tylenol PM, that's not what you need to do.
No.
You're just masking the problems. You need to get to the root of the problem, see what the problem is, address that problem so you can sleep, and we can help you with the sleep.
We know it's very difficult. I mean, I think different phases in your life, your hormones change, especially for women. I mean, men do too, but for women, different things going on. So that is also, don't feel like you have to struggle with that alone. That's another thing that, let us help you out with, because if you're not sleeping, it does mess up your hormones. Then you maybe have prone to get cravings next day, and then then they're drinking too much caffeine because you're trying to stay awake, and then it really is. It's really hard. So, because I've definitely have battled that too. So we understand.
And 10, finally, just realize a stall is somewhere along your journey will occur.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your body,
your
again, we go back
changing.
to, and it doesn't want those to change.
No,
your body
fights.
wants, your body
fights
wants.
it and fights it. Just realize you're going to have a stall, and that the saying you have is progress
over perfection.
Remember, we are on a continuum. We are wanting to go from where we're at to optimal health, and we'll probably never reach that because we're human beings and, the decisions that we make. But we want to be continuing on that timeline towards being as healthy as possible as we can. And you may get stuck at a point there for just, a little while. It's okay. But don't go, like a lot of people say, well, forget this. I'm going to go back to what I was doing, 2 years ago. That got me in this mess. So just remember, it's going to happen, and you'll get through it. There's sometimes, even with us, it takes a little while to figure out what that stall is, what it is that we're doing, what we need to change. And
that's why also, writing those things down, what you're doing, how much water are you drinking?
What are your macros?
What's your macros? If you're not tracking, you don't know.
I've got every exercise I've ever done for the last 5 years in notebooks.
I know. I'm trying to make them throw them away.
I've saved every one of them. But I can go back and look and see, hey, sometimes I may get frustrated, like I'm not, lifting more or whatever, but I can go back 2 or 3 years ago and say, hey, look how much I've progressed. I'm 50 now, and I can do a lot more now when I was 40. So, I'm and Danae's the same way. We're progressing towards better health. We're still, learning, and that knowledge that we learn, we'll pass it on to you guys. But, we're here to help.
Don't give up, And like I said earlier, don't give up, think about what you're wanting for later on. Don't give up what you want for later for what you want right now.
Right.
Is that what you're wanting right now going to benefit what you want for later?
Right.
And if it doesn't, it's really, really hard. But that craving, that wanting will pass. Tell yourself, if you're having a hard time, stopping, eating or whatever, whatever it is, think, okay, put that off for just a few minutes. Even if you have to set a timer and say, okay, I'm going to set my timer, and if in 30 minutes I still am hungry,
I want that,
then you can have it. But a lot of times those will go away.
Yeah.
If you really will let yourself actually let that craving pass. Don't keep thinking about it. Yeah, get your mind on something different.
Absolutely.
So. All right, our verse for today is 1 Peter 5:7. And I know we've done this one before several times, but it's still a good one. Cast all your care on him, for he cares for you. And with, if you're listening to this before Tuesday, November, what will that be, 3rd? 2020, then you know that there's a lot of anxiety probably of what's going to happen with the elections. Well, still, we're going, we're in the United States, if you're listening to this, in, this will be November 2020, and not only do we have a major election coming up on Tuesday for a presidential election, and just all kinds of state and Senate and local there's all kinds of major elections, but the coronavirus is still
dealing with that.
Yes, and there's been a really spike in cases, especially in our area. But now, as far as I understand, deaths have drastically been reduced.
Just the number of cases.
Yeah, just the number of cases went. Not only are we testing more, but then this time of year, things are, people are getting more back together, and just not only that, but things are just starting to pass. You start passing things around.
Flu and things like that as well right now.
Yeah. So there's a lot of reasons for people to be anxious. A lot of reasons for people to be nervous, and but we just have to remember we're putting our trust and faith in Christ and Him alone. He is King, no matter who is president, and He is sovereign over all things. So, but as Christians, we need to remember that we are to pray for our leaders, and we are
whether you agree with them or not,
and to be Christ-like to other people, whether you agree with them or not. But it's okay as Christians to stand up for our freedoms of the United States. That is what we came to our country for, is to have freedom, to be able to practice our faith, our religion. And so it's not something that we are just to say, well, as Christians, we can't stand up for our rights. We got to be peace.
Right.
You can be peaceable.
And, it talks about casting our cares and things. And really, you can't have faith and fear in the same bucket.
No.
You're going to have one or the other in the bucket. Which bucket do you want to feel?
Right.
Do you want to think more about the fear, about the things that could happen if your candidate doesn't win, or the COVID if somebody gets sick or something like that?
Right.
You can't have fear over here than faith in God, because God already knows.
Yeah.
So when we have those fears, when we have those struggles, when we have those minds that we're just racing and things like that, we just have to really, praise God. I think thanking Him and praising Him is the very first thing we need to do.
Yeah.
And then, that peace, and He talks about in Scripture, you just can't understand the peace that He gives you. It doesn't make sense sometimes, but it's there. So when you're having those times and you don't know what to do, just cast your cares, cast your fears upon Him. Let Him take care of you. Let Him, let Him have that calming spirit that you need to have, so that you can be who God wants you to be in your life and to those around you. All right? Anything else?
I'm good.
All right. Remember, guys, be fit and be faithful, and we will see you next week.